Did you go for Rath Yatra?
No, I could not. Rakesh went.
I didn't go either.
Yeah, I went to sleep pretty late, and then I just made bhoga. Got up especially in the morning to make some bhoga for, and Rakesh went, so he took it. He reached there in time to be able to give the bhoga.
Nice.
Yeah, he enjoyed
I
it.
had service. I was in the temple.
Oh wow, that's good.
Ironing Prabhupada's outfits.
That's very good.
Mm.
Very good. Sutapa is also joining us here. I'm going to remove the enabling from this and let her join the audio. And we'll get. How are things with you otherwise, Kamala?
Yeah, good, good. School starts on Monday. Everyone in person.
Oh.
I know.
Is it for all the kids and everywhere?
All the kids everywhere.
All the school, huh? In
all
California?
the schools, all the campuses, public, private, everyone. It's going to be a little scary because
Yeah.
first till fifth grade, no one is vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah. It's scary for them also, the first to fifth graders, right?
Yeah, more for them. More for them.
Yeah. Yeah. But you never know the second wave, third wave, whatever these waves are. You never know. Okay. Well, all we can do is take shelter of Krishna, which we are doing today. Sutapa?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Have you taken shelter of Krishna recently?
Yes, Mataji.
Very good. Very
All time.
All the time, not recently. Yeah.
Very
now
good.
every time means I'm just thinking that we are not the doer. We are not the doer.
That's a good reflection, and that's a good way. That's a good thought process. That's a very good thought process, and that will keep you grounded. And also, when you think that others are not the doer, it makes life even better. It helps us to tolerate.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vindhyavali Mataji. It helps you to tolerate. It helps you to tolerate. Yeah. It helps a lot to tolerate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we see that we are not the doer, despite of the fact that we are not the doer, we will still, feel.
That others are, yeah.
We'll still feel the spot, we'll still see the effect of that. But when we get into understanding and thinking that others are not the doers also, then it becomes easy, because then you know that they are not doing anything to you.
Yes, Mataji, the second part is more interesting than the first part.
Yes. And
I missed that second part and first part.
We'll talk about that.
I will tell you.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
I'll ask
Sutapa is the head of the class. Okay, so let's get going with the class. I am broadcasting already on Facebook, just declaring it. And so tell me one thing, that when I start broadcasting on Facebook, do you also get that?
Yes, Mataji.
Message? Yeah. Did you get that?
Yeah.
About the broadcast?
Live.
This is, right?
That's when I tell you that we are live, when you ask me.
Oh, I thought you watch it on that. Okay, that's good.
No, you are already is live.
Yeah.
No, I got it today for the first time. That's why I'm asking you.
Custom live screening service.
Yes, Mataji, even I got it for the first time. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So
oh no, Mataji, I got every time.
Yeah,
like,
me too. That's why when you ask me, I always tell you.
No, we never get this one before on custom live screening service. No.
That you should always get, because I always live stream. Today I got a pop-out, like, you know how when I record a message, you'll get a message saying that this is being recorded, right?
Yeah.
So similarly, today I got a message that said you are being broadcast on Facebook. So that's the part I was asking. Like, for example, if I'm going to start, see this message that you got?
Yeah.
I got something similar to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Exactly was that, that was happening there. Okay, so, well, that's fine. Let's go, and I'll go to Facebook here.
I also got it for the first time.
Yeah, I think it could be system upgrade or the software being upgraded or something like that, right? It could be,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So,
Dandavad pranams to everybody. Hare Krishna.
So are we doing Brahma Samhita, Shraddha Mataji, today?
No.
Oh, yeah. No, Bhagavad-gita.
We're doing Bhagavad-gita.
Okay.
Oh,
We did Brahma Samhita last time a little bit.
No, but you said we'll alternate, and last time we did chapter
Little
3,
bit.
little bit of Brahma Samhita.
Yes. Actually, 27 and 28 verses go together. So it's good to do them one by one, right? Because we talked about Ahankara Vimuratma, right?
Yeah.
Ahankara Vimuratma. And today we are going to talk about Tattva.
Okay.
And when I'm going to talk about that after this. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnanavanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurau Shri Yuta Padkamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagaram Raghunatanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Kanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Go Premanande Hari.
Mataji, before starting, I just wanted to ask you, like you told that, we have to think about that the other person is also doer. So we can control our behavior a little bit. So the opposite person means the other person cannot control their behavior too? Means they can, right?
I said the other person is also not the doer.
Yeah, not
right?
the doer.
Yeah.
But
So just as you cannot control yourself, they are not also able to control themselves. Right?
no, the behavior I'm telling that we can control that we should not behave badly to other people. That
They
we
can
know.
also, yes, they can control. But then somebody has to tell them, right?
They won't do.
Where are they being told to control? Tell me. We are being taught that you are a self-made person. You should fight for your right. You should give it back equally good. That's the general education that we get. Where do they teach about tolerance? It's not there, right? You are lucky you came across Prabhupada, so he told you those kind of things, right? And that's why it says that Narad Muni says to Dhruv Maharaj, when Dhruv is very, very angry at his father. And so there in that area, he says that when people are better than us, we feel envious. When people are same like us, we get into competition. When people are worse than us, then we look at them with a bad, in a bad angle, right? And saying like, they're bad. But instead, what you should do is that when you find somebody who's better than you, you should appreciate the fact that you got that opportunity to meet somebody better than you, because then the flow can happen, right? And if you move around with people who have less money than you will never get any money because they don't have any. But if you in your life, somebody who's rich comes, like Uncle Sam wins the lottery, then you have a rich relative who can do things for you. So when you have, or I took a very gross example of money, same applies to intelligence, spiritualism, and so on and so forth. So whenever somebody better than us comes into our life, we should actually be very happy and see that that is a gift from Krishna coming to us. Yeah. Right? And then when we find somebody who's same as us, right? Same level as us, then instead of getting competition, that, oh, he's okay, he's got that car, I've got this car, I've got a 2-bedroom house, he's also got a 2-bedroom house, let me go into a 3-bedroom. Now you go to the 3-bedroom houses, now you want to get into a 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. There's no end to that here in this material world. So similar, right? So when you are with similar people, be friendly with them. I also don't know how to read Bhagavad-gita. You also don't know how to read Bhagavad-gita. Let us both of us sit down and try to make a study circle, study group and study. Same people, right? Like that. And then when we meet somebody who's less than us, which in your case, Utapa, is the one who's not able to control, right? Then you should feel compassionate for them. And it was Prabhupada's compassion that brought him to America, right? Otherwise, we can sit in, he could have sat there in Vrindavan, in the most holy place on this planet, and he could have just said, these Malechas, these Yamanas, these this and these that, right? What was the need for him to come at the age of 69 to USA, suffer 2 heart attacks on the way and still not go back, have money problems, have people, pee on the way, on his walkway, all kind of things, right? Why did he do that? Because of compassion, and see the results, right? So when we say that you have compassion, it's a thing some little bit difficult to digest. So for us to say, why should I be compassionate? Here, Shastra is telling you things. Shastra is telling you that they are also not the doers. People who do all kinds of bad things to you, inside the soul is the same. It's just the bodies that do and behave according to the desire of the soul. So you should feel compassionate for the soul that it has got such a base desire. Somebody insults you, it's coming because the other soul had the desire to insult you, which is such a base desire to have, right? Such a low desire to have, right? So then you should say, and now when you understand the verses, the famous verses in Bhagavad-gita, which talk about that when you have got a material desire, you get attached to matter, and then you start to enjoy the matter. And then, in the process of doing that, then your mind gets bewildered, memory gets bewildered, and then the intelligence is lost. Once the intelligence is lost, you fall down again into this material world, and the cycle continues, right? So Shastra is telling you that, okay? Now, so you got that knowledge that this is how it happens to people. Now, when you look at other people behaving badly to you, then you have to apply the Shastric knowledge that you have, because you are on a pedestal, or we have placed ourselves in a pedestal. And so when you're looking down at that, so then also look at it. Now when Prabhupada is saying, be compassionate to that soul, how will I get that compassion unless I get the knowledge, right? So when you get the knowledge of why that person is behaving, right? And so why that person is behaving like that, okay, so this is how the mind operates. So he's going through this, okay? Then you have to go back and say, okay, so but why is the mind operating like that? What is the driving factor? So the driving factor is the soul. The soul does the desire. This world is situated on desire. If you don't desire anything, there's no world. So because of the desire, so then you will feel bad for that soul, saying like, oh, that soul's consciousness is at that level. Is there something that I can do? And that's why when Jesus Christ said, and Mahatma Gandhi also said, that when somebody slaps on your one cheek, you show them the other cheek. They didn't really mean practically that, ask them to slap you also, then they will think you are indolent. What that meant was, learn to tolerate and do something which is so, like, kill them with kindness, as they say. Do something which is so good and so unimaginable in their area, in their realm of living. Compassion, doing good for others, forgiveness. They don't understand these things at all, right? And that is where you come in, because you got that knowledge and you understand that. And like you said, that all the time you're thinking, I'm not the doer. I said, just extend that and apply it to others also. That others also don't know what they're doing. And what did Jesus Christ say when he was crucified? What did he say? He said, does anybody know?
Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
What they are doing.
What does that mean? 3.27. Ahankara vimoodatma kartaham itmandate. They do not know what they are doing. Right?
Yes, very nice thought. And yeah, we have to start. Means it's difficult to start thinking, but once you are habituated of thinking this way, then it will be very good.
Right. And that is why we say we are practicing bhakti. It is practice because it's not coming naturally to us, but after suitable practice, it will become second nature to us, right? Mm-hmm. Did you, how many of you learned how to ride a bicycle? You did? Okay. So then when you were learning how to drive, where was your concentration?
Concentration on that I don't fall. I must see in front
road
properly
and
yeah,
Right? And how did you hold the handle?
very tight.
with
Very tight.
very nice.
Right? And you knew that you were paddling and it was difficult
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that you're paddling. And then while you were concentrating on the paddling, you also had to look ahead and see, oh, somebody's not coming, and you don't bash it.
Yeah.
And Mataji, once what happened, I was riding the cycle. Those days, they used to charge 2 paisa for 1 hour to take the cycle on rent. So I took the cycle on rent for 2 paisa, and I was driving. There was a big ground in front of our house. So I was driving, and it started raining, and it became slushy. I said, I don't know how to get down. And the only way was to fall down. I said, okay, let's fall down. I remember.
Yeah. But then I'm hopeful that you learn how to drive the cycle. And once you learn
Yes.
how to drive the cycle, then you are concentrating not on bicycling, you're not concentrating on the balancing, you're just concentrating on the traffic. Right?
Yes.
So similarly, these things will kind of come as second nature. They will come. So tapa, it's a practice. And they come very soon. Bhavami na chirat partha. It doesn't take long. Why? Because the day you make the sankalpa that I'm going to do this, you have already started your journey. And if you have started your journey, which means that you have sat on the right train. You wanted to go to Bombay and you have sat in Bombay Express. You have not sat in Patna Express or Patliputra Express. You are in the right express train. It will take you there. It might have halts, it might meet with accidents on the way, but ultimately you will reach your destination. So that is what our mood should be as we go along. Right? Okay, so are we ready for the next verse?
Yes.
Yes. Sukumal Radhe Mataji is ready. So let's get going here. Okay, can you see?
Which text, Mata? Oh, Bhagavad-gita 328. Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
All right.
Mahabaho Gunakarma Bhagavad.
Tattvavittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayoho. I'm going to mute all of you because I'm hearing a lot of background sounds here. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, we're looking for the button. Right. Okay, so let's go back here. Tattvavittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Guna Guneshu Vartanta Iti Matva Na Sajjate. Tattvavittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Guna Guneshu Vartanta Iti Matva Na Sajjate. Tattvavittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Guna Guneshu Vartanta Iti Matva Na Sajjate. So Tattvavit is the knower of the absolute truth. Tu, but Mahabaho, O mighty armed one, Gunakarma, of works under material influence. Vibhagayoho, differences. Gunaha, senses. Guneshu, in sense gratification. Vartante, are being engaged. Iti, thus. Matva, thinking. Na, never. Sajjate means to become attached. So, Tattvavit, very important, very, very important verse here. Okay, so let's go to our rounds. What is the meaning? What is the Sanskrit for becoming attached?
Sajjate.
Sajjate. Very good. And when there are differences, what do you call them?
Vibhagayoho.
Vibhagayoho.
Vibhagayoho. Okay, very good. And then what is senses? What word is used here for senses?
Guna. Guna.
Guna, right? And what else do we understand from the word guna?
Guneshu.
No, I'm just asking in general.
Oh,
Oh, guna means
Qualities.
qualities, yeah, or good.
Qualities. So like you see this lady is gunavati, gunashil, right? So we understand that to be guna. What else do you understand as guna? The word guna.
knowledge.
Mataji, three mode of nature.
Goodness.
Material nature for 750 points to
Oh,
Vidyavadhu.
three more.
Sorry, Varshana Mataji.
Hmm.
What else does guna mean? There's one more meaning that guna we give to guna. In along the lines of what Varshana Mataji said.
Goodness, Mataji. No.
Guna. You remember? We also talk it about as the rope, right? The rope, and especially the twist that you see in the rope. And there's a very nice picture of where there are three beautiful women. They have got ropes in their hands. And what are they doing? They are making all to dance, right? So these modes of material nature with these ropes. So sometimes guna is also, that rope is also known as guna. And we saw that there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And all of those modes, they actually bind you. So this is very, very important to understand. All the modes are going to bind you. And so here, last time what we read was Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunhe Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimur Atma Kartaham Iti Manyate. So we said that everything is being done by the modes of material nature. But we think that we are doing it. We think that we got this done, right? But however, the only thing that the soul does is that it has a desire, right? It desires, and then as a consequence of the desire, you get all these things happening around you because you are situated in a particular type of body. And what type of body you are situated is also something that you get according to your desires. You can become a pig, you can become a snake, you can become a peacock, all sum total of the desires that you have, right? So he said ahankara vimhur atma. Last time he said ahankara vimhur atma. So ahankar is false ego, right? And ahankara means ego actually. So, and when it is false, when the soul thinks that I am this body, and because of thinking that I am this body, the soul goes through all these, millions of birds and 84 lakh species of life, and so on and so forth, like that. So, what was the name that Krishna used for them? Vimur, completely bewildered, stupidest of the stupid, foolish of the foolish, right? So like that, most foolish of the foolish, like that he said. And now here in this verse, so here's what the Bhagavad-gita always tells you about, right? There is the chapter 12, which is on devotional service. And then there is chapter 16, which talks about the demoniac personalities. And actually in chapter 16, he talks very little about the good people. He dedicates the whole chapter to demoniac personalities. So in Bhagavad-gita, you will always find the good and the bad, both of them are described. For example, in the second chapter, Krishna was telling Arjuna, if you don't fight the war, what is going to happen? People are going to make fun of you, right? But if you fight the war, this is what's going to happen, right? So he's giving him both the sides of the coin, and which is very important for you, that before you make a decision and before you look at anything and come to any conclusions, always look at both the sides of the coin. And which again takes us back to Sutapa Mataji's question in the beginning of the class that, what about that other person? Can they not control? And I think here Sukomal Radhe Mataji can jump in and tell us from her experience, because she's in a school. If a child in the school suddenly starts to become naughty, suddenly starts to doing bad things like, tearing people's copies or even beating people or throwing things at the people, what does the teacher do? Does the teacher just punish them and say, okay, you did bad, you got the punishment, you're done with it, or do you handle it differently?
We tried to not embarrass the child in front of the class, and we would bring him aside and explain that what he did was wrong and that he must face the consequences, but that we'll give him another chance. And if he still keeps doing it, then he has to face the consequences. But right. You put the child aside and not embarrass him.
Not embarrass him, right? And then also when kids sometimes start behaving very weirdly, the school counselor, the school, the elders in the school will also try to find out what has happened to the child. Maybe there's a divorce happening in the family. And every day he goes home and he hears the bickerings of the parents. How can he do the homework? He's behaving like that, right? So we do it all the time. So similarly here also, right? We have to look at both the sides of the coin. To see that somebody is behaving in an odd manner is completely an illusion, completely thinking he's the body. But we understand he's a Vimura. But this chapter, Krishna is saying that, don't set aside the Vimuras. Let them do whatever they are doing, but then through your own examples, you explain to them the right way of doing it, and which is what Jesus Christ did. You are in the gallows, or being, not gallows, you're on the stake, and there you are on the cross, sorry, and you are saying they do not know, forgive them. So he taught forgiveness through his own example. So this is what we are supposed to do through our own example, right? And which is a bit difficult thing, forgiveness. But if you learn how to forgive, then you are the most liberated person. Because as long as you don't forgive, the other person is controlling your life. For whatever they did, and for whatever they are not improving, they're not giving up their bad habits, they are changing your life. You are allowing them to control your life. Right? So you should do that. So looking at both the sides of the coin, so one side of the coin was the Vimuras, so they are doing like that. Okay, so then what does the intelligent person do? What is the intelligent person supposed to do? I'm the intelligent one. What am I supposed to do? This verse is going to tell us, tattva. What is the intelligent one supposed to do? One who knows the truth. How is he supposed to act? And I see a hand raised there. Varshana Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, when you find that you are being controlled, in such situations, how should one person behave? You see, I understand that the only answer I get is to keep quiet and carry on. But at the same time, people take you for granted and they carry on suppressing you. So in such cases, what should be done, Mataji?
What is being suppressed? What are you trying to express? You should only be trying to express Krishna consciousness. See, that is the problem that we have. That is the problem that we have, right? If you want to fight for Krishna, go ahead, fight. This is what Arjuna did. If somebody is saying, don't chant your rounds, right? And you want to put a tough stand, you put a tough stand. You did put it, Varshana Mataji. You don't cook meat in your house. You did do that. In such a nice and a subtle way, you did it, right? That is the way to do it. Suppressing doesn't mean somebody suppressing, so we also now try to fight. We also give it back. What's going to happen? It's only going to spoil your consciousness. It's only going to spoil your rounds, right? Kill them with kindness. And it has its effects. It just requires patience on ourselves. Just requires patience. People do change. And our problem is that we try to contain the changes on a time spectrum. I'm here, born here, I'm going to die. So my kids, my spouse, my brothers, my sister, you better change between this and this point. You never know. After we die, they might change. I changed after my mom died. She tried to bring me to Krishna consciousness. I did not. But 9 years after her death, I found the Bhagavad-gita. But whatever influences that she had on me, they got the effect because she had already planted the seed. She was telling me, and that's when the Bhagavad-gita came and I turned and looked at, oh wow, this is what she was doing her whole life. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, meditate before going to school, like that, right? So that effect will happen. And that is why Krishna always says, Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the right to perform your duty. Do not ask for the results. And again, this verse is the previous verse was exactly saying that. Who is oppressing whom? You tell me. The soul doesn't change. The soul is always cheerful. Who can oppress whom? Who is oppressing? Who is being oppressed?
The body,
There you go.
the mind.
The mind, exactly. So as long as you think that you are the mind, ahankara vimudhatma. And this is what Sutapa is saying, that she is practicing this now. We have to practice it. Right? And a nice way to do it is through patience, because then you have, peace in the home. And I always tell them that if you are getting physical abuses, then you have to take up the cuddles and seek the proper authority, right? Because you need this body to perform Krishna conscious activities. However, if somebody is just giving you mental torture, what exactly is mental torture? What are the things that we feel tortured about? They say you're not looking good, you're stupid, you don't understand this. What is it? What can people do to us? You think like this? Tell me, Sutapa. Tell me, how can people harm you?
Mataji, mental torture for me is the words, that kind of word they use.
Yeah.
That create a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And
why?
Because of
I scold all of you. I think I've scolded all of you at least once in this class. All of you. You don't feel bad. You come back again. So words should not affect you, right?
It's the ego that's coming in the way.
The false ego. I am this.
Yeah.
What are somebody's words that can hurt us? Come on, let's take some words that can hurt us. What are some of the words you think? What do they do? What that hurts you? What do they say that hurts you? And let's find a solution to that.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Give me an example.
Sometimes, Mataji, people say, "Oh, you are very arrogant," or you are very sensitive. You should not do like this. Like this kind of word.
Arrogant. Okay. So when somebody's saying they are arrogant to you, right? You should always ask them for an example. So what Vaisheshika Prabhu says, whenever somebody says like that, please tell me where I went wrong. Nice way. I never meant to be arrogant to you. I might have done something unconsciously. I might have said something in a way, not meaning it, but maybe you understood it a different way. Can you give me some concrete examples of how, what I did that you felt that I was being arrogant? I live to be corrected. If you say that, right? And then, so now they will tell you. And then you will know. I was told that I was arrogant by one of my, when I was a manager, one of my, team members. He said, "You're very arrogant." I said, "My goodness, what happened?" And then he said, "Well, you remember there was that all hands meeting, and we all had come from different parts of the country, and we were there. This guy was local, and you were talking to me and we were having this conversation, and then somebody from Florida came and he said hi, and then you turned hi and he started talking to them. You were arrogant. You were talking to me. And then you left that conversation and then you started talking to that person. And that fellow kept that grudge for at least 6 months till it came out in the one-to-one, in the performance appraisal time. And I had not even realized it, because I had thought from my side that my conversation with the gentleman was already over, was complete. So when somebody from Florida raised their hands and said, "Hey, hi," I said, "Okay." Right? So, but then I knew that this is a super sensitive person. I have to be careful that, whenever such a thing happens, I'll say, "Okay, are we done? Are we cool? Are you done? Let me talk to that person." Or I can turn to that other person and say, "Can you wait for a minute? I'm talking to him." Like that. So sometimes we don't realize it, but we project ourselves as being arrogant unknowingly, like that. Right?
Mataji, I have one more thing. Means I don't know whether it happens with everyone, but in my case, it's happened very frequently. I don't know why, because if you write someone, people usually they don't reply, whether it's phone call or it's a text. So I know that I should not be hard because they may have some difficulties or they may have some compulsions. I don't know. Then what should I think at that moment? Maybe I have waited like 1 week or some couple of months, but they still don't answer or don't call back. I understood that they may not want to talk to me, but it really hurts.
That's it. Yeah, if they don't want to talk to you, that's it. You don't have to talk to them. They don't want to talk to you, right? There are so many people, Sutapa, who really want to talk to you.
Yes, Mataji. And then my question is how to overcome that hurt? Because last
Yes,
2, 3.
Krishna as well. Yeah, it is Krishna. Don't see, again, you are allowing somebody else
To control.
control you,
Yeah.
right? Karmanevadhikaraste. Why did you call them? Because, tell me, give me an example. Why did you call them in the first place? You wanted to find their well-being, or were you dependent on from them?
Yeah.
Right?
Or maybe we know them for so many years.
That's
So
it.
that's the exchange of thoughts or
Right. That's fine. If they don't answer, then people move on. Satapa, in relationships also, people move on. You have, like, Srimad Bhagavatam says, you come together like two logs of, like sticks, like in a big ocean, people come together, like two sticks together, and then a wave comes and they are separated, never to meet again. So it happens. You just move on, right? Our problem is why we are focusing on the result. You have a certain expectation of the result that I've sent a text message. So within 1 week or 1 month or 1 year, they should respond back. And that is not happening, right? Like that, just remove them from your list. And so here's the interesting thing that we have got attachments, and these verses are talking exactly about this. And when people teach these verses, actually, they don't just take one class, they take 5 or 6 classes to understand this. Because Bhagavad-gita, especially in India, if you ask people what is Bhagavad-gita, what does Bhagavad-gita teach you? So they would always say that Bhagavad-gita teaches you what is duty. And then at the lowest level, I'm a citizen, I'm a policeman, I'm a doctor, husband, wife, this is what my duty is. At a higher level, what's my spiritual duty? But one of the most important thing, and which is Bhagavad Gita is telling you again and again, is you are the soul and you are not the body. And because we think we are the body, then we look at all the extensions to our body, and our friends and acquaintances and everybody in our, in our contacts list on our cell phone is our extension of our body. And when they don't respond according to how we behave, want them to behave, then there is hurt in our heart.
Yeah.
So many people, I mean, when COVID came and people couldn't go out, and old people, they were so lonely. And there are people, volunteers, who were just calling them. And the volunteers have got a whole list of people to talk to. And the first person they talk to hangs on to them. 1 hour, 2 hours, they're talking, they don't want to let go. So if you really want people, you really want to talk to people, tell me. I will give you names of people who will respond. There are so many out there who need you. Those who don't need you, don't bother.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah. Just move on. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, but ignoring, when somebody says something, if we don't react, that reminded me when I was working in social service. I said somebody, you don't have any food stamps because you didn't reapply. You didn't have any. So they got so mad. Being an Indian, I used to have dot and everything. And I used to go like that in the beginning. Then she said, you go back to your country. So first I got irritated. I said, well, how come they're saying like that? But then I controlled. I said, if you buy me a ticket, I will go. Then there is no answer at all. There is no reaction at all from them. Because he's already getting food stamps. I said, buy me a ticket, I will go. I'm not going to stay back here. So that makes somebody, if we react like that, and I know sometimes if I'm angry with my husband, of course he's late now, but he used to listen all that whatever I say. He used to look at my face just like that. That made me say, how come he's not reacting anything? When I'm saying something, he's not reacting. After a little while, I said I used to keep quiet. So, so that is very hard, but we have to practice, I think. So that reminded me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a difficult thing to do, but it comes from practice. We will fail several times. We will, our these gunas will overtake, and there is always there's always a fight going on. And I was telling you about the fight, and last time I talked about how inside you there is a Rama, there is a Vibhishan, right, and there's a Kumbhakarna also, all in us. And what do they do? Sometimes Vibhishan becomes, they're all fighting, and sometimes Vibhishan wins. Sometimes, Kumbhakarna wins. And sometimes Ravana is there raising his head. So it is a fight. We have to, and that's why suitable practice. We have to practice it all the time. So if you go back to our words here, which I'll start sharing one more time with you. And Suttapa, this is a question that you have asked many times in the past. And this is exactly what it is, that reminder constantly. I'm not saying don't ask it again.
No,
I'm just saying that this is how it happens. That you fight and then let me get into the verse and I'll bring this thing back again there, right? So here it says, one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The knower of the absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in material association. He knows that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and that his position should not be in the material creation. He knows his real identity as part and parcel of the Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge, and he realizes that somehow or other he's entrapped in the material conception of life. In his pure state of existence, he is meant to dovetail his activities in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. He knows that his material condition of life is under the supreme control of the Lord. Consequently, he is not disturbed by all kinds of material reactions, which he considers to be the mercy of the Lord. Look at that. He is not disturbed by all kinds of material reaction, which he considers to be the mercy of the Lord. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute truth in three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Tattvavit, for he knows that he knows also his own factual position in relationship with the Supreme. Om Tat Sat. Okay, now mercy of the Lord. So Suttapa, you just asked a question, wrote an email to somebody who was an acquaintance, maybe not as spiritually advanced as you were. And if they had responded, what would have been the topic of the conversation? What are the topics that you all would have discussed?
Yes, Mataji, sari, jewelry, all material things. And if I want to tell them about something Krishna, or maybe they should stop eating meat or something else, they will, after a few minutes, they will say, okay, I have some work, I have to go.
Right, and then you will feel hurt again, right? Because now they're not listening. So you see, if they are not responding to your call, if you see that this is mercy of Krishna, our problem is that we do certain things and we expect certain results to happen in a certain way, people to behave in a certain way, and that doesn't happen. And that is where the element of surrender has to come. And Shishyasteham shadi mam tam prapannam. Even Arjuna had a difficult time to understand that. He said in chapter 2, Shishyasteham shadi mam tam prapannam. I'm a soul surrendered unto you, Krishna. And then chapter 3 again, he says, but you are saying this and but you are saying that, and you are saying work in devotion, and you are saying not work, I don't know. And he will continue to ask him. Till in the 8th chapter, 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, when Krishna says, you do whatever you want to do, right? And then 10 verses later, he will say, yes, Krishna, I will do. So it's sweet surrender. It takes a long time. That's why you need devotee association. Because some devotee, you come here, all the devotees over here are going to tell you that this is how, you should behave. If you go and talk to a materialistic person, they will tell you to write another nasty email or WhatsApp message or something like that. or call them and leave a nasty voice message. That's what they will tell you as a matter of retaliating, as a matter of not tolerating any nonsense. What do they mean? Like that, right? So we have to constantly come back here for succor and go back again and again to the devotees. So here in this particular verse, it's very, very amazing verse. Tattva vittu mahabhava. Now you know the very famous chapter, and a very famous verse, and with this tadvidhi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshinaha. So tattva darshina, so they're saying that if tattva darshina, those who have seen the truth. So tattva means truth. Those who have seen the truth, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to serve them. And then ask questions of them humbly. And because they have seen the truth, they will be able to give you the right knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important for us to go to a tattvavit who has known the truth. And what is the truth? What is the truth that Bhagavad-gita is trying to tell you? Bhagavad-gita, the main truth that Bhagavad-gita is going to tell you is not about duty. The first main truth that the Bhagavad-gita is telling you is that you are the soul and not the body. As soon as we understand this truth, then we have come out of the shackles of false ego. Otherwise, all of these things are going to bound us. Right? When we are angry, that's also a shackle. Mode of the modes. That's why I said guna. What does guna mean? Guna also means a rope. So these are the ropes that bind you. So mode of goodness can also bind you. So tapa, I can be, I only drink, distilled water. This is not distilled water, by the way. I only do this. I only drink milk. I only eat vegetables. I don't eat after sundown. I don't do this. I'm good. I can get bound to that. I miss something. I miss goody two shoes, like that, right? So that is also binding. So Prabhupada says that it doesn't matter what sort of a material was used to create the chains that bind you. It could be it could be a chain of iron. It could be a chain of silver. It could be a chain of gold. The chain, but it is still a chain. And how do you get out of that chain? Asanga shastrena dhirena chitva. In chapter 15 of Bhagavad-gita says, Asanga shastrena. You have to use the knowledge and the weapon of knowledge. And there are many weapons, right? We have been reading about Brahmastra. We know, there are spheres that you can use. Bhima used to use a gada. Arjun used to use an arrow, right? So there are many kinds of weapons that you can use. But one of the weapons that you will use is asanga, is detachment. Get detached from people, get detached from the result. Now, getting detached from people doesn't mean that I don't talk to them or that I don't cook for them or I just, they come there and I turn my face away. No. Basically, detachment is this. When I say something, I'm not expecting a result. When they are going in a certain way, internally, I might feel bad and pray to the Lord if they're not on the spiritual path, but then I let them be. Right? Asanga shastrena dhirena chitva. So here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, and as we always know that Krishna uses some very particular words to address and each to use his name. And each one of these names has got a very particular meaning, and he uses that to convey a particular message that he's trying to convey. And so here he says tattavittu mahabaho, right? So he's saying, oh mighty armed one. So he's addressing Arjuna as mighty arm. The person has got mighty arms, right? We know Arjuna, the way he used to do the bow and arrow thing, Gandiva, such a big thing, fighting, the best fighter, and so on and so forth. So he's saying that, hey, Arjuna, you know what? You are Mahabaho. You have got such interesting, such powerful arms that you will be able to fight. And Arjuna, we know that you can fight with a Gandhi. But here, you have to fight the modes of material nature. That is what he's saying. And that is what Tattvits will do. And so they said, Jnanina Tattva Darshinaha. So we are saying, okay, the Tattvits will do. Tattvits know how to fight with the modes of material nature. So you don't have to be really, don't have to go to the gym to make up a body to be able to fight the modes of material nature, because that fight is a mental fight. And Barchana Mataji from with our army background will tell us that the battles are not won on the front. The battles are actually won in the camp, where the leaders are planning the strategy of the whole battle. The Chakravyuh that they lay, that all requires planning. So battles are won through the mind. If you, in your mind, if you think that I've lost, then you are lost already before you even fought. So mind controls the destiny also. So here he's saying, Tattavittu Mahabhavo, you'll have to do it. So Tattavittu Mahabhavo. But he's saying, hey Mahabhavo, what do the Tattvits do? Right? Tattvits is saying they understand. So what is Tattva? Vadanti Tattva Tattva Vidas. Right? In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2. Satyam Yat Brahma Advayam. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan Iti Shabdate. So Tattvits are those who know that, what do they know? That there is God. If you don't know that there is God, don't call yourself intelligent. You are not. So those who know that there is God, Tattvit tu Mahabhava. So Vadanti Tattva Tattvada. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan Iti Shabdate. They also know that God can be realized in his three features as Brahman, which is his effulgence, Paramatma, the Lord in the heart, and Bhagwan, which is Sri Krishna, Swayam Rupa. When you get that knowledge, so that is another arm, that is another weapon. One weapon is detachment. And how will you get detached? When you get this knowledge that you are the soul, you're not the body. But still all these modes of material nature are acting on me. I am inside a body. I am in a prison. Accept me, please. I do not have any control over anything. I don't even have control over myself. If the call of nature comes, I have to drop everything and go. Right? What do I control? How is the food digested? Cannot do it. Can I say, hey, coronavirus, don't enter my nose? Cannot do that. What can we do? Right? So we don't actually control anything at all. And we just keep on thinking that I'm this body, I'm this body, I'm this body, and through that body, I want to control everybody. And as if this body is just not enough for us, we also try to then, Halloween comes here in USA, and we try to become another body. Who are you? I'm Mickey Mouse. Who are you? I'm a witch. Or as ISV does, they don't have Halloween, they have Krishnaveen, which is a good thing, because then they say, okay, I'm Krishna's friend, Madhu Mangal or something like that. Right? So you are given a body, and now you're given your senses. You have been given senses. So it is our duty now to engage those senses in the service of Krishna. So once you understand that there is Lord, and then you have to also understand your relationship with the Lord. That is the third weapon that you have. So understanding your relationship with the Lord and to know what am I supposed to do with the Lord. Right? All those things are going to help us. And until we don't do that, what's going to go? That, Nunam prabatta kurute vikarmana yad indriya pritim apanoti. So there is this very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, and which says that because we are always trying to satisfy our senses, and senses are very strong, right? They carry away a mind of a man. Even one of the roaming senses carries away the mind of a person. We read that in second chapter, right? The senses are very, very strong. And to make it worse, we think that we are the senses, and we think that senses are giving us enjoyment. Senses don't give you enjoyment. Senses are just instruments that capture some data. Just as a thermometer is an instrument that if you put in your mouth, it captures the data inside your mouth and tells you what is the temperature in the mouth. Right? Similarly, these senses are roaming. They are out seeking. They are seeking out. And what are they doing? They are gathering information about this material world, and they are presenting it to you. And we, ahankara vimudatma, we think that this is going to give me pleasure. Right? Now, For example, a man sees a beautiful woman. So the senses gathered that data. And the man thinks that if I marry this woman, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to enjoy. So he gets married, enjoys, and then sometime later, he divorces her. So the woman is not the one who is giving pleasure. The woman is still the same before divorce and after divorce. What changed? So it's the mind. And you think that you are the mind, so you think I'm enjoying it. And why did all these things happen? Because of the desire to enjoy. And why do we want to enjoy? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. But the problem is that we are trying to enjoy in the wrong place, in the wrong way. In the 16th chapter where it talks about Ishwaro ham aham bhogi. Ishwaro means I am the controller. Aham bhogi, I am the one who's supposed to enjoy. That's what we think. Oh, nice laddu, I should eat it. Oh, nice, mango on the tree. Let me grab it and let me eat it. Like that. Ishwaro ham, I am the controller. I can go, I can grab the mango, I can get it. So, but that is not true. We are not the Ishwar. And in trying to do that, that I am the bhogi, kurute vikarmana. I will do all kinds of sinful activities just to satisfy my senses. And senses are insatiable. That is how they work. They are like fire, and trying to satisfy the sense is like putting ghee on the into the fire. What's going to happen? It's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And senses are so bad, try that. I would not recommend. You get up, at 11 o'clock one night, you have a cup of ice cream. Mark my words, the next day exactly at 11 o'clock, you will want the ice cream again. This is how it happens. And as you're eating that ice cream, there's some enjoyment and then there's a guilt. You're not supposed to do it. And my calories are going up. I'll have a heart attack. My blood sugar will go up. I shouldn't be doing this. But still, next day again. And that is why, who was it who said, you take a shoe and you should beat the mind in the morning and you should beat the mind in the evening, right? You have to constantly beat the mind, and it's so vigilant and so smart and so ever ready to deviate you from the path of devotional service. The mind will always do that. So these are weapons. Asanga shastrena dhirena chitva, that is one weapon. Tattva vittu mahabharo, get the knowledge. That's another weapon of knowledge. You will detach yourself with this banyan tree, which is this material world. Now you have to remember, and so Komal Radhe Mataji can tell us, because she heads the chopping department of ISKCON Silicon Valley, and she will tell us that if you have to chop something, your weapons have to be sharp. If you give them blunt weapons, then her team is going to take twice the time and maybe not be able to cut either. So when you have got your weapons have to be sharpened. And to understand that I am not this body, for me to try to understand that Ishwaroham aham bhogi is a wrong thing. Instead, we should look at Bhagavad-gita 5.29, which says, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhidam sarvabhutanam yatvan mam shantim vichati. So he says that the person who understands that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and also he is the friend of everybody, both, who understands that person is going to get the peace of mind. So if you're trying to get peace of mind, and without peace of mind, where is happiness? Krishna told that, right? In chapter 2, where are you going to get it? Not going to get that, right? So these weapons have to be sharpened. And how do you sharpen them? Here, every Saturday, you sharpen. Every morning you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You're sharpening your weapon like that. So through devotee association, through reading the books, through doing Sankirtan, 5 potent elements of devotional service, sadhu sangha, going to pilgrimages, these are the ways in which you will sharpen these weapons that you have. And otherwise, you will just think that I am here in this body, I will do whatever I want to do, right? But even though we might think that we can do whatever we can do, you cannot. There are, depending on the kind of body that you have received, your enjoyment is also confined. And you are given facilities. For example, if you are in a jail, not you, somebody is in a jail. And so he might just say, well, I have got the freedom. My basic freedom has not been taken away from me. For example, if I want to sleep, I'm allowed to sleep, right? It's not that you are in jail, so you cannot sleep. Okay. So you are in a jail and you are allowed to sleep. So you want to sleep. And so they say, okay, go there on the ground and sleep on the ground. Then you say, I'm hungry. They say, okay, here's what you'll get. Dal, which is very watery, and rice, like that. You don't have a choice. You might think that there is a lot of choice in my life. And, usually in the family, sometimes, the husbands who are not very wise, when the wife serves some food on the table, they will say, oh, dal. My mom used to make the best dal in the world. I still remember the dal. And that's it. Now the wife gets angry. You don't like anything that I cook, huh? You want your mom's thing? Go eat your mom's thing. Right? Retaliation. That's how it starts.
My son always says like that. I say, you know what, ever since you opened your eyes, I am the one feeding you. But now your wife came, till 20, 25 years, she's feeding you. You need to accustom to that,
Yeah.
But if you say that, nobody will like it. Now, if your wife is saying, doing good, I may not like it. If
Yes.
I am doing good, she may not like it.
Exactly. The balance has to be maintained. Right? If you don't, so they don't do that. And then there's argument. And the husband says, all right, I'm not going to eat food in this home any longer. I have money, I earn money, I can go and eat in a restaurant. Ishwaro ham aham bhogi. This is what it is. And so he goes off and he goes to the restaurant. And he thinks, I am liberated soul. I can eat whatever I want. Now, when you go to the restaurant, can you eat whatever you want? Can you go to the restaurant and say, can you make dal makhani as my mom used to make it? No. You will eat the dal makhani that Ramu made for you. And while cooking that food, Ramu put all his sweat and blood. Literally. You see? So you don't have a choice. In this material world, the sooner you realize that you do not have that choice, the sooner you surrender unto the Lord, the better it is. And you are in the path of being a tattvit. That is what a tattvit is. And the tattvit knows that all these things that are happening, these are the modes of material nature that are acting. I wrote an email to somebody, I wrote a text to somebody. Maybe they had a bad feeling for you and they are not responding on purpose. What is happening? They are under the modes of material nature. I'm feeling bad. I'm now under the modes of material nature. Iti matvana sajjate. They do not get attached to that. Tattvit. And it's not an easy thing to be a tattvit. You're all practicing sadhana bhakti. That's why we practice that by also using sonic, So normally you sharpen your weapon on some hard, stone, and you use that and you sharpen your weapons. But you can also use sound to sharpen it. Sharpen your weapons by saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Go. Okay. Any?
Mataji, you said we can sharpen our weapons with 5 things. One is the Sangha of the devotees, then the Shastras reading, then the chanting. What were the 2 others?
Living in a holy place and deity worship. All right. Anything else? Anybody wants to know about tattvit?
When I read this mercy today, yesterday I went to the hospital for my checkup, there was a lady who was, I think, must be 4 to 5 years younger than me, I think. And Mataji, she could barely pick her foot up to walk. She was just, you see, trying to what you call it, crawl on the road with her feet. And I was when she sat down, her shirt went under her. She could not pull it. She was trying it. I just touched. I said, "Okay, let me pull out her shirt so that she can sit comfortably." I made her. Her husband came. He could barely pick up his papers. I got up, put the papers, and I was thanking the Lord that, "Hey Bhagwan, Shukra Tera, that you have, in this age also, you have given me the strength to walk properly, to talk properly, to think properly. Every moment I felt yesterday, oh Lord, thank you so much." The whole day my went like that. And I'm still seeing that woman in front of me, how, and very decent woman, very nice lady. But see, Mataji, how, I mean, Lord is so merciful. But at the same time, I felt that why this mercy did not shower on her.
And what's the answer?
Her
Past karmas, past
previous
karmas.
karmas.
Karma Mataji.
Yeah, that might appear to be the obvious answer, right? That karma, very simple, right? Her karma, she's suffering. Now, based on what I said in the beginning of the lecture, and also what Prabhupada is saying, that it is Krishna's mercy also on her. You do not know.
Could have been more better.
You
It could have been worse.
Yeah, you do not know.
Worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. And also, maybe if she had the feet, she could have done something not very conducive to Krishna. See?
Oh, yes.
So mercy of Krishna. And that's why in one of the verses, Vaisheshika Prabhupada was saying that don't take mercy of Maya to be a mercy.
Yeah.
Maya's mercy is you get all the opulences, you get a beautiful body, you get this and that.
Oh.
But Maya's mercy, don't think that it's a mercy. It's very entangling. It's very, very entangling.
Mataji,
Yes,
today
very
I read one thing from the YouTube. There is one Swamiji, the India, that Ayodhya and Rama's birthplace or something. I don't know, somebody must have read that. So the Swamiji, that went into the court and they were debating, whether the Ram Mandir has to be built or something. You remember that there's a thing going on. Then he was saying that the court judge and they were all talking, does anybody know that Sri Ram was born in Ayodhya? So there was nobody there to answer, even judges, how come you're saying, one judge was asking. Then one gentleman, he just raised his hand and he said, I know that he was born in Ayodhya. So I said, do we have any proof? And he says, in Rig Veda, there's one, some sloka he said, in that it has been given. In Rig Veda, when they wrote the Rig Veda and all, not now. So in that it is there, and you can go and check if you want. I know that. And then Rig Veda, it says Rama was born in Ayodhya. Then judge asked them to check that. So it was there. Then they came back and they were saying thanking. But that person, whoever said that, when he was 2 months old, he became blind. And from 2 months till, I think he might be 70 or 80 years old, Swami. He says, I didn't see anything. I don't know how the judge looks, I don't know how the court is, I don't know what it is, what is Ayodhya. But my father used to tell, I heard that from child. And he knows 22 languages, it seems. And he said, everything hearing only, I got this. And they checked and they said, it was, he got some award or something.
Yeah.
That they
Krishna,
see, then that person was saying, we all are not blind, but how much we are doing? Who knows the Rigveda, the sloka?
actually, we all
We
are
don't all are. We are blind. We are blind.
blind.
We
Yes.
are
He is
all
the one who
blind.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blind with eyes. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, that was really touching me. Today
Yes.
I
Yes.
read that.
Mercy. Yeah. Mercy of Krishna.
Mercy.
If he had eyes, he could have seen so many other things and gotten
That's
entangled.
what, yeah. That
That's
is,
what they
that's
think.
what he says. I
Exactly.
know how Rama was, and just was listening.
Right.
And Rama is my mental this thing and my eyes. That's it.
Mm.
That is a faith.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Mm.
It's in YouTube.
Surdas used to write so much. And when he was Surdas, still he described Krishna so well in his poetry.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was not blind in his heart. He was only blind by physically.
And yes. And sometimes, people see through other eyes. I mean, I'm talking about in the gross world also. People can see through their mind's eyes. And so many times you hear so many stories about blind devotees coming to the temple, sitting in front of the Lord and saying, we are enjoying the Lord. And the pujari, what does he do? Why does he come here and sit? He's a blind person. He could be sitting anywhere. Why does he sit there?
He's listening, hearing.
No, they are seeing. And so one day and then he would just say, why do you sit here? Oh, I just enjoy the beautiful dresses that you put on and the beautiful jewelry that you put on. And then the pujari was thinking, wow, he's just saying like that because anybody knows that in the temple, the Lord will have a flower garland. He'll have some jewelry, he'll have some clothes. Big deal. He's just saying like that. So one day the pujari did not put any garlands and any ornaments on the Lordships. And then this man comes and he sits down. And the first thing that this blind man tells the pujari is, why do you not put ornaments and garland today?
Oh God.
So you never know what kind of powers people have. When they go
That is something.
There's something which is
So
beyond.
God is mercy. His mercy only.
Yeah. So God's mercy can come in so many ways.
Like Shana Mata is saying, we should be thankful from since morning we get up till night. Every day.
Every day.
We have to be thankful to God. We have hands and legs and we're walking and talking. But at least we need to use in good use, not in other way. We should put in good use for all those hands and legs and everything.
Yeah.
That's something. Very nice.
This is so always pray for the nice thing, pray for, to utilize your body in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
That is what our Indriya should be engaged in. How much do you need? How much? Yes, so should I just ignore my Indriyas? No, because you need some food, right? But then the thing is that how much? And it is so interesting that, and I do it all the time, that when you are in the temple and you are in the line for prasadam, and there are all these good prasadam which is laid out there, and so they will give you like one laddu, and the mind goes like, oh, wish these laddus look good. I wish they would give me one more. Then you keep quiet, and then next, and then like that it goes. You want this and you want that and you want that, but there is so much of food. By the time they give you everything, your plate is already so full, and then you sit down to eat. You can't eat half of the plate. So how much can you enjoy? We think that we can enjoy unlimitedly. We cannot. You're controlled. You're controlled and governed and programmed in the way your body is working. You might have a small stomach. Stomach can expand and become 40 times its size, but then beyond that, no. So you can't. So this enjoyment is a real enjoyment, which you can enjoy as much as you want, unlimited. How many gulab jamuns can you put in your mouth before you throw up? 70, 80, 25? Depends on
way.
Not even two.
Right. Now,
no way, one or two.
Answer my question. How much of Krishna Katha can you put in your ear?
Endless.
Endless we can do.
That is endless enjoyment. So what this is Krishna's mercy, that he has constrained your body in such a way so that you do not get more and more and more involved into all those kinds of nasty attachments and indulgence. Instead, he has given, but when it comes to the real enjoyment, he has given you still the facility to enjoy the real enjoyment unlimitedly. He has given you ears. You can pour anything that you want to the ear. So go for the good thing.
Yeah.
Ask for the nice thing. So today we had Jagannath Rath Yatra in San Francisco. I've been going there for like 11 years, last 11, 12 years, non-stop, every day, every year. This year I could not go because I had work to do. And and I was thinking about this, and one of my favorite devotees here, Dilip Bhai Patel's son, he comes from down south and he is there doing the prayers. And as I was making, my husband did go there, so I was making bhoga in the morning to send off to them. And I was just thinking that, oh, I'm going to miss that he'll be doing the prayers and things like that. So I just thought about that. And look at Krishna's mercy. I see Girdhari Priya on Facebook and he never comes here. So Dhanvat Pranam Girdhari Priya Prabhu. I'm just so very happy. I'm just thinking that this assembly has become now more exalted that you are here on this.
Oh, so sweet.
That's so nice. Think of that. Yeah.
You think this wholeheartedly thought.
Yeah, you think of devotees, you think about good things, and then Krishna will be merciful on you. Yeah. Like that. So, okay, ladies, souls.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you for a very enlightening class today, Shraddha Mataji.
Tomorrow morning I may not join because I had to go again to the temple every Sunday.
No problems.
So that's
Shraddha
what I pray
Mataji, we are still on once a week schedule, right?
Help.
We are still on a once a week schedule,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, twice a week. We do on Sunday class.
I cannot do Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, I'm not coming to.
I can't.
Well, you try that, Sukomal Radhe Mataji. You'll be very surprised. This group is now on the 18th verse of the 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita.
I know, but I get up at 5:30 every day for work, so I just cannot bring myself on a Sunday to it.
Yeah, it will happen. That's fine. That's why we record these classes, right?
Yeah.
I always pray, Krishna, if you give me money, please let me help something, out of that money. And if you give me hands and things, let me do your service. That's all. That's what every Sunday we are going there, and whole day we're cooking, and 200 people there making prasadam, Mataji, every Sunday. And if the weather is good, they're sitting outside. Otherwise, we have to pack the boxes. 200 people.
Keeps you busy. Good.
Yeah.
All right. I need to leave.
Thank
you.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Gaur Pramanante Hari Hari.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.